proud of the way our guys hung in there. Give credit to Arizona State. They made one more play than we did. That's what it came down to. Both defenses played well. I think each offense only found the end zone one time, if I'm correct. I think it was a bunch of field goals and one touchdown with each of the offenses out there. We didn't play as well as we usually do defending the run. We gave a few more yards in the run and gave up more than we usually do in that regard. Dropped a few interceptions. We had a couple chances there. Intercept some balls, couldn't come up with those. Offensively, still got to throw the ball better in order to attack that kind of an aggressive blitzing defense that we faced tonight. We got to be better putting the ball up the field and make them pay for that a little bit. And we weren't able to do much of that. But it was a tough group of guys we got in our locker room, physically, mentally. They slug it out all the way down to the final play, and it's just unfortunate we came up short. But proud of our guys. We got to regroup. Got a tough Oregon team coming into our place next week. Arizona got beat tonight, so everyone's got 2 losses at least in the South, except for the Sun Devils. Obviously, they're sitting in first place. So we've had you break the season up into thirds. We're 3-1 in the first third, 3-1 in the second third. We got to find a way to get some wins in the final third. That's our objective right now. It starts with Oregon. So questions.
What effect did Drez not being able to go have on the offense in the throw game, especially tonight?
Well, Drez is a heck of a football player. We miss him. He's talented. He's our deep threat, but he's not there, so it's a moot point. We've got to carry on and next man up, and so really makes no sense to talk about what if, because there is no what if.
Did you guys just feel like you just needed to move away completely from the pass in the second half?
Not completely. We probably, in hindsight, probably should have thrown a little bit more, but their DBs were doing a nice job of gloving us up, up the field. We didn't have much separation back there. Couldn't get much separation.
What was the problem with not being able to take advantage of the blitz? Was that a play call issue, or what was going on?
No, we needed to, like I said, go over the top a couple times. Would have been, that would have been the best answer to loosen them up. Maybe a little more in the screen game, but they know what they're doing. They're a good defensive football team, and they brought the pressure at good times, and we just got to be better. We just got to be better.
Were there any adjustments you made at halftime? First half they had 257 yards. In the second half, defense came out and played a much better half. Was there anything specific?
Yeah, a little more man coverage in the second half than we played in the first half. Mixed up we changed up zones, a little more 3-deep zone in the second half. But really, it was just a matter of our guys. The first couple series were really our worst series, I think, defensively. But after that, we settled in and played pretty good. Except for, like I said, we're a little soft on the run tonight. We're usually much more stout versus the run than we were tonight.
What was the difference in your offense at the start of the second half? You came out and scored 10 points right off the bat.
Yeah, I just made a few adjustments in the block schemes and how we were blocking things, and some of the plays that we called in the second half we hadn't dialed up in the first half, and so it was just a matter of better performance.
As I guess we expected, he was pretty distraught earlier. He made 12 straight kicks going into that field goal. What kind of things do you say to him after a moment like that?
Well, he's a heck of a kicker, and we're not even in the game if it's not for his. I think he hit a 50-yarder and a couple 40-plus yarders. So he's a heck of a weapon for us, and he'll be back. I mean, he's one of the best kickers in the country, and the clock had expired on the last kick, so I called timeout in the overtime. For some reason, we weren't able to get the snap off quick enough, and he missed that one, and then after the timeout, wasn't able to connect on that last one either.
What do you make of your secondary's matchup against this offense without 2 starters in Carter and Rowe?
I thought they played well. I thought our secondary hung in there. Like I said, we dropped a couple interceptions, or it would have been a great outing by our secondary. But those guys played hard, and they play a lot of snaps. And when you're playing man coverage as much as we do, that's taxing on those DBs. That's taxing, and they just kept coming back every snap. I thought we did a nice job on the strong kid. He's a heck of a receiver, and he didn't really do a whole lot tonight. I don't have the numbers, but he made a nice catch, a great athletic play over Damo in that second half. But for the most part, I thought we held up pretty darn good in the back end. And that quarterback's an excellent quarterback as well, Taylor Kelly.
With 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter, you guys had a run and then called a timeout, and at the end of the possession, Arizona State still had one timeout with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
What was that timeout about?
Well, we wanted to see if Booker could pop another, and we weren't positive they were going to call one, and so they may have been content to let the clock run out. I don't know, but we didn't want to take that chance, and so we didn't have good field position. I think we were inside the 20, it was the 18-yard line, something like that. Anyway, didn't want to risk a turnover down there because it was just a field goal, but we thought if Booker could pop one and get 10 or 15 yards, then we'd go ahead and throw the ball a little bit, but we're not able to pop that run. That was the thinking.
You had a couple third and longs where you guys called runs or seemed to have short yardage plays. Was the big concern just not giving the ball up?
Yeah, it's not, if you can end every drive with a kick, it's not bad. Whether it be a punt, a field goal, or a PAT. That's something that is not a bad situation, and you're not gonna move chains very often on third and long, and oftentimes you just gain a little bit of field position. And particularly tonight, this was a defensive struggle tonight. It was both defenses playing real well, and so it's just the approach we took tonight, and that's how we approached it.
It seems like every time you blitzed, you got to Kelly. Did you feel like you were effective in the blitz?
For the most part, they picked up towards the end of the game. We had a couple of blitzes, a couple of corner blitzes they read and picked up, and had a little bit of success against it. But you're right, we had pretty good success when we blitzed, just like they did. I mean, both defenses were bringing pressure, and I don't know how many sacks we came up with, 3 or 4. We got to the quarterback pretty decent amount of times, but really, it boiled down to two things. Disappointing is our run defense, because we're usually better, like I said, and our throwing offense. We got to get better there.